Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Stratnor44. I hope you all are keeping well and safe today. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Armed and Dangerous, all the fun and joys of teammates, randoms, bit of fun, all the various things. But just remember, before I get into it, to never stop moving, never stop believing, and stay Apex. Now, you can sort of see that I'm running through the bunker with my teammates. There's plenty of gas, which of course Caustic can get through no problem, but the rest of us can't. So we have to wait for it to disappear. What a pain. But, you know, this clip is just a very short one, just to kind of show that, you know, there was very little coordination, unfortunately. Wasn't a great deal we could do, maybe, but it's been a good example of the kind of games I have experienced. I think this is about day 4 or 5 of Armed and Dangerous, and you know, I have to say it's been very, very what can I say? The little words fail me. Not the easiest mode, but like I said, I kind of partly want to get the badge in one way, but it is a chore. Now, why is it to me as well that the charge rifle feels like I really can't do anything? My ultimate is also very slow with Mirage, and I got shot in the face, which was very unfortunate. The teammate decides to hide behind the canisters. Okay, admittedly he was healing, but yeah, I get eliminated, and then the whole squad gets wiped out. So great fun. The second one then is another game. I mean, I've had a few to be honest, but this is one where we landed in that unknown place, which me and a friend called Death Village, because I feel like it is kind of pretty much a village of pure death. It tends to be usually quite hot, and a lot of people tend to die here, so I thought it was an apt name that me and my friend came up with. So yeah, Caustic Track gets shot, someone throws a grenade, gotta love it, come running around, and it turns out actually to be an Octane, if I remember. Luckily we down him between the two of us with the Mastiff, and of course he dies then. Fantastic. Always nice to get a little bit of a good start, even if it is a kill. It's always handy. So yeah, I mean, obviously, as I say, with this mode, it is very limited on health, it's very limited on shields. It isn't for the casual player, I think. I'm kind of, I don't know, a mixture between casual and not casual, but there you go. Guess that the Caustics were there, hiding behind the gas trap. Eliminate both and get kill leader for a bit, which was nice to kind of get. Shoot down some fences, grab some various loot, not too much in the bins to be fair, or the death boxes, but you know, always nice to pick up something. And I do the team player thing. I drop down a med pack for one of my teammates because I figure they haven't got anything, so always good to be worthy of helping out your teammate. Now, one of our teammates doesn't move. We run back to give him or her a med pack, but they're not moving, so we have a little bit of fun with it. I just hit her. The other teammate gets the hang and does the same thing, and then I do it back. This is a bit of fun, but this was quite amusing. Smacking them back, and yeah, all a good laugh. Then we start teabagging for absolutely no reason. And I don't really think teabagging's very cool, but you know, sometimes for a bit of a laugh, it's okay. And I throw out a decoy as well, just for fun as well, and use that to teabag also. It's nice to have a little bit of fun with randoms. You don't get it too often, but it is nice when you can have a little bit of fun. And you know, it's all banter, and that's fine. You know, being team players, working together, and kind of actually trying to help each other, even if you don't end up being successful, it is quite nice. So I thought this was actually quite decent, and yeah, I mean, it makes a bit of a change. Now, obviously, like anything there, you're trying to, you know, win the games. I think it is very much the toughest thing. In Armed and Dangerous, I think you've really got to have, I would say, 2 squad mates with you, actually, you know, players you play with regularly is good. If not, at least one that knows what they're doing. It does definitely help. Because you get decent randoms, like these were quite fine, you know, it didn't go too well in the end, but at least they were fun to play with, and that is always fine. I mean, I don't really care too much about the winning, although winning is nice, It's more about actually enjoying the games that you're playing. And I think a lot of us, we probably do experience this where you get a mixture between, really cool people who actually are team players and helpful, which are more rare and more noticeable than the ones that are bad, because they usually steal all the loot and they take everything that, would help someone else. Unfortunately, that is just always the way, and I always think it's a shame when people do that. Some people do it on purpose, I think, to get a bit of a reaction, and other people, I think, are just like that anyway. So, yeah, one of those things. And maybe they're just so used to randoms doing it that they just automatically expect every single random do it, and it goes from there. But as you can see in the background, I mean, the teammate, the Revenant, gets shot, so does the Wraith. We don't know necessarily where from. Turns out from behind us, there's actually two camping there. One takes a bit of a shot at me. I then, of course, charge up and then back off. I think they thought I was a decoy, so they stopped shooting at me, and then they realised I'm probably not, but, I quickly back off. The teammate sort of tends to go through the portal, but unfortunately dies. What I didn't realise, actually, and this is the kind of annoying thing, is I threw a good thermite, burnt out one of them who is forced to run, and then, unfortunately, what I didn't realise is that there was actually only two of them. Otherwise, I would have pushed the other one, and that was kind of a bit unfortunate, really. One of them tends to be hiding out there, and meanwhile, while I'm healing and stuff, expecting there to be at least two more, there turns out not to be, which is a bit of a pity. And of course, they actually get the sort of like, well, they don't actually get the revive, but someone's still shooting from elsewhere. I don't actually know whether we were stuck between two teams, Actually, I think we were. I think that's why. So, it does make a little bit of a difference when you're stuck between two teams. I try and push, and it doesn't go very well, unfortunately, because the Mastiff does a lot of damage, and they get the crypto up, and yeah, it doesn't end, let's say, very well. But that's the game, and I end up in a death box yet again. Woohoo! I feel like I've been in them a few times, but there you go. But the final game, this one was fortunately a lot better. I did actually get stuck with two very decent players, which I think is probably maybe the first time. No, maybe actually there's been a couple of other times when I haven't had bad players with me, but generally speaking, the players are a little bit questionable at times, and I feel like, with this kind of mode, I feel like it is a difficult mode. You have got limited health and shields, and unfortunately, not everyone is a team player, like I said, so getting ones that actually were really team players, just like the last lot, that's two in the last sort of 8 games, I think. I've edited out all the other ones because they were all dreadful, but I thought, well, these ones were good examples of team players. So I started getting chased by, I think, an Octane, which was really irritating. He tends to be able to run faster. Yes, I could have put my weapon away, but you feel like you don't want to. And the Revenant actually takes him down, thankfully. So I managed to survive, but only because he actually shot him, which was a bit of a relief. So I swap out the Evo shield, haven't got any health, but of course you just tend to try and do anything. Now I edited out a little bit. We find that there's another squad. Of course the Pathfinder's already pushed ahead because he does have grapples. Oh yes, even though they take a little while to recharge, he does still have the ability to get much further and faster than anyone else. So being of course, the team player that I like to be, I ping a shield battery in the hope that they'll back up and come and get it. Actually, they don't, and then Gibraltar throws down one of those good old ultimates. So I backtrack and I think, well, I'm going to grab that battery actually because I do not want an enemy picking that up. These are like gold dust in this mode. So he throws down the ultimates. They're meanwhile fighting off a couple of people. I check behind me, and then literally one comes up, and the good old Eva 8 finishes them off. Now, as I say, I quickly loot. I grab a Mastiff, and I think I've got a Sentinel as well. So we then, of course, push from there into more action. Which I love, why not? I mean, these action-packed games are much more exciting. Certainly lots going on, and lots of teams, which is kind of the way. Yes, I do wish I had a better scope. This one's okay, but I do find it just a little bit harder to hit my shots sometimes. I do definitely prefer the 2x4 scope, which I feel just has that little bit more zoom and a little bit more control. not necessarily a sniper player myself, so I guess that's probably why, but I do like that particular scope. Lots of shooting, lots of things going on. There was multiple teams here. There was no doubt that there was at least 2 other teams. We see an EMP going off in the background, good old Crypto, and of course our colleague left one of the death totems. And I think the death totem is really strong now. Not having a limited range, I do feel like this is a lot better of an ultimate. And I think that Revenant has got a lot stronger. I'm going to talk about that in a future ranking video when I re-rank all the legends, when I've had a chance to play with every single one. But I do feel that Revenant is very much stronger than he was previously. So yeah, big difference. But as you can see there's a sonar detected, which is good old Bloodhound. Lots and lots of things going on, and of course lots of action, as I say, and that's always the way with this game. I love throwing my decoys out, just putting them crouched down and things. It's just to try and get, you know, someone to maybe take a shot, think it might be a mirage, and it warns us then if someone's behind us. It's just little things like that that help. We get crossfired, one of them gets downed, the Bloodhound comes running at me, and the good old Mastiff takes him down as well. Now, I do make a bit of an error here. I'm not going to say I didn't. I swap out my shield, which is great, then try to swap it back, and yeah, I should have moved. Definite mistake, Wraith behind me, error. And it's very easy to make, and another video that I plan to make is one about making the right decisions. I by no means make the right decisions sometimes. I think we're all capable of it, especially even the best players I think make mistakes, but I think why they are so good is because they make less mistakes, and it is very easy to just make one little error in this game. There's not much margin for mistakes, I think, to be fair, but luckily the Revenant, you know, having sort of been got up by the Pathfinder, or got the Pathfinder up, he gets me up as well, so that was quite lucky there. So yeah, so of course I have to run good old slidey jumpy, just to try and get a little bit further while the storm travels in, and of course we keep running then, just to sort of try and back off, and of course get some health as well. Luckily I had a couple of syringes, which is always nice, so always tends to help. What I do tend to find as well is that what I do like is firing out a decoy with Mirage, just to again you know, cause a bit of a distraction while I'm healing up. This just gives me a little bit of a chance to, if someone does attack through the window, it gives me a little bit of a warning that someone is going to be shooting or try to kill me. So just little things like that, you know, I do find very useful. Again, it is all individual tactics and techniques with each character, I find, and you know, it's just something that I've kind of picked up and used for a long time with this individual character. But yeah, anyway, so we then of course head off. Now I am lagging a little bit behind. What I don't know is that meanwhile they are back in containment, or on their way to containment. I linger around just in case that Wraith came back. I was hoping to try and kill her, get my revenge. Sadly that didn't work, so well, she wasn't there. Never mind, always the way. But I do feel like the squad that I encountered were there. I realise there's enemies, I ping, and of course then I run round to try and hide. Now, in an ideal world, you know, running round here and hiding would be a really good idea, but they seem to just so happen to run right round to me. Now, I do knock down the Bangalore, the lifeline. For some reason, I just can't hit, and I get downed. Firing from the hip, you've got to remember to fire the Mastiff not from the hip. You've got to aim down sights for it to do much more damage, and when I'm that close, I find that really hard. So although the Mastiff's a really good weapon, really up close when they're right up in your face, not so fantastic. Something to bear in mind. The spread basically is wider, for those who don't know, so it does less damage if you fire it from the hip than actually aiming down sights. I believe that is only the Mastiffs that you need to that. I don't know why necessarily, but anyway, they deal with, of course, the other people. So that was always cool. You know, I try and heal up. I've got at least a shield battery, so that's always good. And of course, then you know, able to take them down, which they actually do. They take all of them down, if I remember, and it was always nice. Definitely a good thing to kind of do that. Now I do run up, and then I realise that the storm's going to come, so I haven't got time to loot the boxes, unfortunately. I would love to. I like looting, but I realise that it's much more smart to run away and get back into the storm. So yeah, so I do ping that I need health. Naturally, how can I put it? I don't know whether these players are going to give me any health, to be honest. But I do try and do the team player thing, realising that the Revenant hasn't got shields. I drop a couple of shield batteries for him, just to try and kind of say, look, I'm a team player. Let's all support ourselves. We're down to the last 5 squads, which is always a good thing. Seems to have worked, because the Pathfinder then goes, oh, right, you must be a team player, let me be a team player, let's lead and follow by example, and he actually drops me a couple of syringes. I wish these kind of people were on the team or thing. He drops me 1 syringe, actually, but that's probably all he had. So I won't complain too much. It was quite nice and quite a relief. Now we head up to the artillery. I literally just scouting out, as we always do. Again, I fire out a decoy just to, again, I press the wrong button there though, always the way, just to try and, again, if someone comes up from that side, just to shoot, because actually, on our way up there, 2 squads died. I don't know how necessarily, but they killed each other probably. I see a lone wraith. I try to take a shot. Unfortunately, I always find it very hard to hit her for some reason. I don't know whether it's a small hitbox, but I find it very, very difficult to do sometimes. But also as well, a philosophy is not to stay in the same place necessarily too much, because of course they can hit you. I then throw lots of grenades. This is to try and force her to move. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the grenades were terrible, but yeah, just 5 grenades. Well, why not? Make them run at least. Revenant gets the idea as well and says, right, let's have another grade, and we realise then that they're backing off, because they are the only seeming legends left on that squad. So we know that there's 1 at least, which is fair. A lot of people, there's going to be a lot of casualties in these type games, so we just want to try and keep of course, people at bay and try and get the better position. Which again, having a Pathfinder on your team is actually exceptionally useful, because he can get you to the high positions. And although, of course, Pathfinder I know is, considered, not as high tier as he was, he is still a really, really good team legend, just like Lifeline is now. Maybe not so much individual, but great team legend, will really help out any team that he happens to be on. And when I sort of look at it as well, players like this, they are team players, which is really nice. They actually dropped me some syringes and some ammo and stuff, and it was just like, wow, really, you actually have helped me? That is amazing. Thank you very much. So we decide to, of course, reposition in the main part of artillery. So of course we head up there, editing out the little bit where I run up, because let's face it, it's a bit boring. And of course then he puts the zip line up high, so jump up there, which is always good. Now the Revenant has left a death totem. We've seen that there is someone around, so again, having now no restrictions on range really, really helps for the combat and the side of things that you would like to, of course, have. Now we realise then that there is, by seemingly the Wraith knocking around somewhere, so we sort of just run around, kind of scout out, check out the situation, and eventually someone takes a shot, I believe, and of course that kind of helps. Now the totem, I would say, has got a bit of a time limit on it, which is the only downside, but well, always a good thing. The Wraith is behind, use the Mastiff with a very nice looking skin that someone left me, and of course we get the kill then. The Wraith is then down. Now, I could have picked up the Gold Mastiff, truthfully, but to be honest, I had all the attachments to make it gold anyway, so I thought, well, at the end of the day, it's not really a big deal. So the last squad, though, they literally pushed up quite quick. They followed up where we come from, so that was always good. And surprise, surprise, they also had a Revenant with them as well. But, of course, yes, this goes as swimmingly, and we clutch out eventually the first win that I've had in Armed and Dangerous, so it was a very, very nice feeling. So yeah, so that is it from me. It was great to have the win. It was nice to have my first victory. Great team players. Very nice to be with them. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. So just remember to never stop moving, never stop believing, and stay Apex. But if you like the content, drop a like on the video, and if you want to subscribe for future content, please do. But otherwise, that is it from me today. So I'll see you in the next video. You take care. Cheers now. Bye-bye.